Welcome to The Explainer. You know, the AI arms race is getting hotter by the day. And today we're looking at the latest battlefield, and it might just be right inside your code editor.
So, on August 28th, Elon Musk's startup, xAI, launched a brand new tool, and it's aimed squarely at the world of software development. It's called Grok Code Fast 1. And yeah, the name kind of says it all. It was built with one primary mission, to be an incredibly responsive and affordable tool for a whole new way of programming.
Now, to really get what makes this tool different, we first need to wrap our heads around the core concept it's built for. And that concept is called agentic coding.
Okay, so think of it less like a smart spell checker and more like a junior developer intern, one that can actually take a task and run with it. You know, xAI even said that their own engineers were getting frustrated with how slow existing models were for this kind of work, which is exactly why they built this thing from the ground up.
So how does it actually work? Well, first, it understands the high-level goal you give it. Then, and this is the cool part, it starts using the tools a developer would, like the terminal or a file editor, all on its own. And finally, it thinks through the problem and spits out the code to solve it. Pretty neat, right? All right, let's get into the really juicy stuff. xAI is making two very bold claims for Grok Code Fast 1. One, that it's blazing fast, and two, that it's remarkably cheap.
And when we say fast, the performance gap is, well, it's significant. The benchmarks show Grok Code Fast 1 just cranking out code at 160 tokens per second. That is a huge leap over rivals like Gemini 2.5 Pro and GPT-5. For any developer out there, that speed means less time staring at a loading screen and more time actually building things.
And the price? Get this, it's aggressively low. We're talking just $1.50 per million output tokens. So it's not just fast, it's designed to be incredibly accessible for pretty much everyone.
You know, this speed isn't just some number on a chart. It's so real that early users are saying they have to adapt their entire workflow just to keep up. Developer Danny Lamancetta said he literally had to change how he worked because the model was just so responsive. It let him iterate way faster by giving it smaller, more focused tasks.
So where does this new tool actually fit into everything? Well, to see that, we have to pull back and look at the bigger picture, what some are calling the AI coding wars.
And this really shows you xAI's core strategy. They are not trying to beat the giants at everything. While companies like Microsoft and Google are building these massive, all-encompassing tools, xAI is carving out a very specific niche with a specialized, super nimble solution.
But, and this is an important but, on certain benchmarks that measure how well it solves real-world software problems, it's still playing a bit of catch-up. This test here shows it scoring just under 71%, which is a little behind models like GPT-5. It really highlights that there might be a trade-off right now between its raw speed and its accuracy on really complex tasks.
What's really interesting is that this launch is happening right as the whole culture of coding is changing. The rise of these AI assistants is fueling a trend people are calling vibe coding, a much more intuitive, almost conversational way to develop software. It's gotten so mainstream that even Google CEO Sundar Pichai mentioned he enjoys vibe coding in his spare time. Now, you don't just launch a tool like this into the void and hope for the best. To get immediate traction, xAI launched with an impressive list of partners. By teaming up with huge platforms like GitHub Copilot and Cursor, they're making the tool available for free for a limited time, putting it directly into the hands of developers from day one. That's a smart move. And the industry is absolutely taking notice. GitHub's Chief Product Officer, Mario Rodriguez, called it a compelling new option. That's a huge signal that the key players in this space see some real potential in xAI's whole speed-focused approach.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the future of software? And maybe more importantly, for the people who actually build it?
Well, xAI isn't slowing down. They promise to deliver improvements in days rather than weeks. A new version is already being trained that's going to support things like images and audio, handle more complex jobs at the same time, and work with much bigger projects. Of course, this kind of rapid advancement brings up some really important questions about the job market. The same places reporting on this launch are also pointing to a recent Stanford study. It linked AI adoption to a pretty significant drop in employment for early career professionals, with software engineering being one of the big areas affected. The rise of these powerful agentic tools like Grok Code Fast 1, well, it might not just change how code gets written, it might
fundamentally redefine the role of human creativity and oversight in this whole digital world we're building. The question really isn't just if AI can code anymore, it's what happens when it can do it faster and cheaper than ever before.